This is the story of Helen Morris, 70 years old, a retired librarian. She lives alone in a small white house on the outskirts of Ohio. To her neighbors, she's quiet, polite, always tending to her rose garden. But inside, the walls remember a different kind of sound, the echo of a phone that never rang. Her son's name was Daniel. He left home 25 years ago after a fight that neither of them could ever take back. Words were said, cruel, sharp, the kind that cut through blood and love alike. He walked out that night carrying nothing but a duffel bag and a silence that lasted a lifetime. Helen kept his room exactly as it was. The posters on the wall, the baseball cap on the nightstand, the calendar still open to the month he left, July 1999. Every evening at 6:30, she sat by the kitchen phone. Dinner for two, one plate untouched. The habit became a ritual. The ritual became her grief. "Maybe tomorrow," she'd whisper. "Maybe he'll call tomorrow." But the tomorrows kept coming, and the phone stayed silent. Years passed, seasons changed, and the world outside moved faster than her memories could keep up. She stopped writing letters. There was nowhere left to send them. The return address she had once used came back stamped in red, "No longer at this address." In the neighborhood, people whispered. They said Helen had grown bitter. But they never knew the truth, that bitterness wasn't what she felt. It was hope that refused to die even when it no longer had a heartbeat. On her 71st birthday, she made tea for herself, sat in the same chair by the window, and looked at the old black rotary phone sitting on the counter. "All I want," she said softly, "is to hear his voice once more, even if it's just to say goodbye." That night, for the first time in years, the phone did ring. She froze. Her hands trembled. She reached for it, heart pounding, tears already filling her eyes, and whispered, "Danny?" But the voice on the other end wasn't her son's. It was a young man, a stranger, and his next words would change everything. "Mrs. Morris," the voice said. It was calm, hesitant, as if the words themselves were afraid to be spoken. Helen swallowed hard. Yes, this is she." "My name is Adam," the young man replied. I knew your son, Daniel." The world around her blurred. Every sound disappeared, even the ticking of the kitchen clock. For 25 years, no one had said her son's name aloud. Not like that. Not with that kind of weight. You knew my Danny," she whispered. Is he okay?" The silence that followed felt like a wound reopening. "Mrs. Morris," Adam said quietly, "I don't know how to say this, but Daniel passed away 6 months ago." Helen didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just held the phone tighter, as if holding it could somehow hold on to her son's voice. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "No, there must be a mistake. He promised he'd call." Adam took a breath. "I met him at a veterans shelter in Arizona. He didn't have much, just a few old photographs and a small notebook with your number inside. He used to talk about you, Mrs. Morris, every night." Helen pressed the receiver against her chest and sobbed quietly. The sound of her grief was soft, almost reverent, like a prayer breaking apart. Adam continued, his own voice trembling. "He wanted to call you, ma'am, but he was ashamed. He said he'd hurt you too deeply. He kept saying he didn't deserve to hear your voice again." Helen wiped her tears, whispering into the silence, He was wrong. I would have forgiven him 1,000 times. Adam's voice softened. He knew that, Mrs. Morris. The night before he passed, he asked me to find you. He wanted you to have something. Helen's heart skipped. Something? Yes, he said. It's a letter. He wrote it for you, but he never got the chance to send it. The next morning, a small brown envelope arrived by courier. No return address, just her name written in a familiar hand. Shaky, but unmistakable. She sat by the window, the phone still beside her, and opened it slowly with trembling fingers. Inside was a folded note and a small photo, Daniel at 18, smiling in his graduation gown. Her eyes filled as she read the words, every line trembling with love and regret. "Mom," it began, "I'm sorry for every word I said that night. I was angry at myself, not at you. I thought leaving would make things easier, but it only made me realize that home isn't a place, it's you." Her tears blurred the ink, but she kept reading, her voice breaking softly between the lines. "If you're reading this, it means I didn't make it back. But please, Mom, don't wait by the phone anymore. Every ring from now on, let it be life calling you again. Don't waste it waiting for me." Helen sat in silence for a long time. The house was still, almost peaceful. Outside, the sun began to set, casting a golden light across her garden, Daniel's favorite spot. She placed the photo on the windowsill and whispered, "You called me, Danny. You finally called."